Hi, I'm Susan Garrett. Welcome to Say Yes Dog Training. Today I'm going to share with you two approaches to getting your dog to do exactly what you want. And history has shown that they both work. One of them works particularly well. I'm going to draw a parallel for how this works for kids, for spouses, and employees as well. You see, I believe that we humans are very much like our dogs in that once we have clarity on what's required, we gain the confidence necessary to excel and be brilliant at anything we do. Clarity creates confidence. But how do we get this confidence? Can we buy it somewhere? And what about our dogs, the ones that might be more cautious in a stressful environment? Can we feed them something to help them become more bold, outgoing, and confident? Well, I wish it was that easy. You see, confidence comes through understanding, through education. Think of any skill that you've learned in the past. Let's look at the #1 tennis player in the world, Novak Djokovic. Every time he steps out to play a game of tennis, he does so knowing he's capable of winning. His confidence comes from his past experience, his experience that have brought a clarity of understanding of what to do and how to do it. This clarity becomes innate. There is no way that Novak thinks about the right thing to do and exactly how to do it while he's on the tennis court. There just isn't any time for that. The correct decision has been learned through the reinforcement that success has brought him. Any doubt, any fear, any indecision has long been replaced with confidence. Clarity has created that confidence. The same thing is true with our dogs. When we educate the dogs to make good choices, the dog's confidence increases, and the likelihood of the same correct choice being made in the future goes up and up and up. Clarity has created that confidence. What creates the clarity? Really, it all comes back to basic behavior. There's two paths we can take when we're establishing behavior in any animal. It doesn't matter if you're considering training your dog, training an employee, or educating your children at home. There's a fork in the road, and each of us either unconsciously or knowingly takes one or the other path. With one path, we're going to be managing all behavior. But by taking the other path, we're going to be training, educating, shaping, inspiring. Today I want to examine the difference between managing and training behavior, and what's ahead for us when we choose one path over the other. Managing behavior means you're committed to monitoring that animal's behavior routinely, ongoingly. If you're the boss of a company, it may mean putting spyware on your employees' computers to see where they're spending their time, or having your employees punch a time clock, fill out timesheets, report exactly what they're doing, when they're doing, where they're doing it at any moment. When the work environment is micromanaged like that, a no-work, all-party atmosphere certainly takes over as soon as the boss leaves the office. Likewise, if you're in charge of a child, let's say you're a babysitter, it would mean keeping a constant eye on the child to make sure he doesn't get himself into any trouble while his parents have stepped out for the evening. It might take the form of throwing a microwave pizza in the microwave and renting a movie to bide the time until you get paid. As a babysitter, you're trading your time for watching the behavior of another in exchange for money. For dog owners, managing behavior means you put the garbage container up on the counter before you leave your house. You wouldn't dare take your dog off leash. You might use words like leave it, no, hey, off. Basically, you're on duty 24/7. You are responsible for the behavior of your dog. If your dog chases a kid on a bike, or destroys one of your children's toys, or pees on the in-laws' carpet, it's because you failed to manage your dog's behavior. If you take the opposite fork in the road when looking at behavior, rather than thinking of managing, you're first going to look to train, to educate, to shape, or inspire behavior. Inspiring behavior this way sees you taking the role of asking more questions rather than barking more commands. This is something a parent would choose to do as opposed to a babysitter. You see, with a babysitter, their only long-term outcome is to get paid at the end of the night. As a parent, you're looking to build or inspire that child to take ownership of what may be possible for them, how to learn to fail and be proud of any little outcome that comes after that struggle, how to glean lessons from those struggles, and that's going to seed tomorrow's successes. That parent would find out what the child loves most of all and help grow that big love into something productive, maybe a new hobby that develops motor or cognitive skills, eventually possibly leading to more clarity and thus confidence in the child. And who knows, you might even be shaping the next Novak Djokovic. A team leader who's shaping or educating his employees in the workplace doesn't manage his people, he empowers them. This corporate leader is going to recognize that his workplace culture eventually becomes his brand to his industry. Any bitterness or resentment that exists in the workplace between the management and the workers, it gets packaged up with the product that's being put out in front of the customer. So here's where your corporate culture very quickly becomes its brand. All of this is just behavior, and it works the same with our dogs as it does with all people. When you look to shape or inspire behavior from your dog, just like Novak Djokovic, you're helping to create hardwired responses. The dog doesn't stand around and weigh cost benefits. He just does the right thing. Clarity has created confidence. You know, last fall I was out taking a walk with a friend of mine. We both had our dogs with us, and we were walking out in a farmer's field. Off in the distance, my friend spots this animal, a small animal. She's wondering what it was, and it was so far away that neither of us could really make out what it was. So she decides she wants to get closer to investigate. She asked me to take a hold of her dog. She puts her dog on leash, and she makes her way across the field. Meanwhile, my dog Feature is still off leash, and she decides to follow her. So Feature's tramping across the field behind her. Now, this animal was probably 300 meters, maybe, 3 agility fields away. At this point, my friend shouts back, "It's just a stray cat." Her voice gets the attention of both Feature and the cat. So Feature looks back at my friend. The cat takes off in the direction of Feature. Basically, this cat runs full tilt right under Feature's nose and into a group of trees. Feature's response? She stood, watched the cat go by, turned around and trotted back to me without even giving that cat a second thought. Now, this is an example of a dog whose responses have been inspired, so that in the heat of the moment, no decision has to be made. If I'm 3 feet away or 300 meters away, the right choice is made by my dog. Let's face it, she is a border collie. And what has that breed been bred to do for hundreds of years? Chase animals, chase sheep and herd them up. Feature's no different. She excels at agility, and I don't think that's a coincidence, because I believe that a lot of dogs that have this strong chase instinct, yes, they are more of a challenge for many people to train, but that's often what makes them a great agility dog, because the best agility dogs are keen to dig in and chase their handler around a course. However, it is inappropriate for my dogs, and when it is inappropriate for my dogs to chase, I replace what is their nature with what may be more desired by me when living a life of freedom, the life of freedom that I want my dogs to live. That is called shaping, educating, or inspiring behavior. When your dog is 300 meters away from you in a field with an option to chase something, no amount of managed behavior that's gone on before is going to stop that dog from doing what he wants when you're not close enough to prevent it from happening. Just like those micromanaged workers that start partying when the boss leaves the office, the desired response is lost when the ability to manage is no longer available. Managing behavior is controlling, while shaping behavior is empowering. Managing behavior creates an atmosphere of distrust with the fallout of sneaky behaviors developing in the subject that you're managing. So for the worker, it may result in them starting to falsify their timesheets, or the child might start lying about their whereabouts. Your dog, of course, waits until you leave the house before making the rounds of the garbage cans or the kitty litter box. Managing behavior removes all choice. Shaping behavior develops what's loved by the animal and strategically weaves that love into the work and the environment. Managed behavior creates rebellion, pushback, resentment, and worst of all, apathy. But eventually, the animal just gives up trying and ends up doing just enough to get by. Shaping behavior creates inspired team members who seek to be actively part of whatever you're doing. The freedom of choice brings clarity and confidence in the animal, whose success knows no boundaries. The best outcome of a managed behavior is that the dog or worker learns to toe the line and do what they're asked, but they do it at a rather lower level. They're not as keen to participate. Where inspired behaviors, those people, they take ownership of what's happening around them. Don't get me wrong now. All of us with our dogs will have at least some behaviors that we manage in one way or another. Some people manage with tools like a long line or muzzles or training collars that aid in controlling their dog's decisions at a distance. You might use something as simple as baby gates or throwing your dogs in the bedroom when guests come to visit. Many times these things are done, this management is done unconsciously. How many of you have grabbed your dog's collar when someone comes to the door, when you have to answer the front door? You're managing an unruly response from your dog rather than training something that's more important. And as judgmental as that may sound, I admit I am guilty of the same. My dogs go stark raving mad when someone knocks on the door. We manage it. And maybe, just maybe, I'm ready to stop managing and to start inspiring a different response. I like to say irritation is motivation. When something really irritates us enough, we're going to be motivated to make a change. I think I'm getting pretty close to that point with my dogs and that front door behavior. If there's such clear benefits to inspiring change in your dog, in educating or training rather than managing, why do you think most people default to just management alone? Often it's as simple as perceived time. On the outside looking in, it might appear that management takes a lot less time. Just yelling at the dog, knock it off, leave it. Someone knocks on your door, you grab the dog by the collar, you talk to the person, you close the door, you release the dog, job's done. The response cost to you of holding that dog is much less than the time it might take to come up with a plan to inspire your dog to, behave at the front door. The important thing is this, that we all move from allowing these decisions to be made unconsciously to giving them a great deal of thought and choosing the fork in the road with a complete knowledge of the benefits and drawback of each path. That you know what you are doing. You're going to decide, I'm just going to manage that. No, that needs training. So maybe if you only own one dog and you live a hermit lifestyle so you don't get many visitors to your home, you can make that conscious decision to not bother to train a better response when the doorbell rings. I mean, it takes a few seconds to grab a collar a few times a year, and that's really not too bad. But what about the bigger ongoing struggles you have with your dog? Imagine adding up all the hours you spend managing and repairing as a result of unwanted behavior from your dog. The time out of your day, every day, doing things like chasing a dog around the neighborhood because somebody left the gate open to the backyard, or waiting at the vet's office once again because your dog ate something inappropriate, or that extra bath you have to give him because your dog found something juicy to roll in at the dog park. Or he won't come in from the yard when you're late for work and he's digging in the mud. How about the time to chase him down when he doesn't retrieve your favorite toy? And let alone, what about when he decides to chase a neighbor's cat or a squirrel across a road at an inappropriate moment? Now we're talking about issues that could sadly end your dog's life. When you consider all the unwanted behavior you deal with in your dog on an ongoing basis throughout the year, then multiply that by the number of years when your dogs are at their naughty best, I think you're going to see that time heavily favors you dedicating yourself to learning how to train inspired change from the dog, rather than trying to manage all those unwanted responses that he continues to come up with. In addition to all this, deciding to take the education fork in the road gives another massive benefit, and that is that of a dramatic change in the relationship between you and your dog, making it a win-win-win situation. You get a better behaved dog, your dog learns how to get what he wants when he wants, and you both get a better relationship with more understanding at either side. Clarity creates that confidence. Imagine a dog that retrieves anything you throw directly to your hand, that never pulls on a leash, that comes every time you call, even the face in the face of really, really outrageously high value distractions. Imagine how much easier it would be to live with this dog and to carry on more advanced training, maybe just trick training or performance sports like agility, obedience, freestyle, disc dog, schutzen, you name it. Once you've laid down that all-important foundation that teaches the dog how to get what he wants by just doing what you want, every layer after that critical foundation becomes easier and easier to train for both of you. You're going to get to the point where teaching anything new takes no time at all, because your dog has already learned that reinforcement comes through you and is keen and willing to participate in anything any new project that you come up with. Think about this. If you turn into a person that stops hollering, "No, drop it, leave it," to change into someone that looks to set your dog up for success, looking for opportunities to reinforce, what impact do you think that's going to have on you personally? You're going to be looking to reinforce, thus you're going to become a more reinforcing person. Can you see any impact on your relationship with people, in coworkers, in your family? It's just one more benefit to looking to inspiring behavior. Managing behavior or inspiring, educating, shaping behavior. The choice is all yours. You're at a fork in the road. You consciously are aware of it now, so what path are you going to take? Remember, we all have some behaviors in our dogs that we're going to choose to manage. My dogs like to attack the vacuum cleaner. I manage it by not vacuuming. I have a house cleaner. When she comes, I lock the dogs away. They go to the building with me, honestly. But don't beat yourself up for that one. Just know that investing the time it takes to fix what you have is always going to be time well spent, especially if your training comes in the form of something you and your dog both look forward to. I have you all excited about giving up managing behavior and looking instead to inspire behavior, so now what? At the end of this week, I'm going to roll out the second part in this training series, where I'm going to give you the framework of how to approach this win-win-win type of training with your dog. I'd like to share my vision with you. All of us here at Say Yes Dog Training have a common goal, and that is to enhance the lives of dogs and dog owners worldwide. To improve the dog-human bond by sharing our knowledge of the effective use of games and reinforcement in dog training. If you too share this vision and believe that training should be an interactive exchange of joy that brings unprecedented results, I'd love for you to spread the word about these free webinars to your dog-owning friends and to your training groups. Together, we can make a difference. And I know there are dogs out there who are eager to leave their world of don't and to have a chance to be part of the training that goes on here in the land of do. So, thank you for your time. Please be sure to leave me a comment with your thoughts about today's webinar, and we'll see you later this week.